today we go point blank on blogging. I'm Po Kwan.
And I'm Daryl. With us in studio are our guests for tonight, Malaysian blogger Ahirudin Atan, Chio Ming Shen, co-founder of Nafnang, the first blog advertising community in Singapore, writer for The Online Citizen, Ravi Philemon, and popular blogger Princess Sabrina.
Wow, okay. Nice to have all of you here in the living room with us today. First of all, before, we talk about, blogosphere, the greater issues of that, let's get our guests to start talking about their blogging experience.
That's right.
First.
We start from the right.
Yes.
Hey. Blogging experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, how did you get started, on blogging? Before you went into launching Nafnang?
The person who started me off was my partner, Timothy. So both of us were about to graduate, and we had to choose a path, One, either to start our own business or to go into investment banking. So
investment banking as opposed to blogging.
Yeah, So we chose the business, and he came up with the idea of doing blog advertising.
Well,
so back then I didn't even have a blog. I didn't know what blogging was.
Back then was how long ago?
2006.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't even know what blogging was. I'm a late adopter. So what happened then was that I decided, okay, it's a good business idea. So let's try this out. And of course, I need to understand what blogging is. So I started my own blog, and then basically. That's how I started out my blog.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Princess Sabrina here?
I started blogging about 2 years ago on my current blog. But before that, I was doing web development and stuff, designs for about 8 years total.
Right. Okay.
And
And then you have a few blogs, right?
Many
That
blogs.
centers-
In excess of 5 blogs.
Wow.
I have my personal blog, which is the one, the Sabrina.sg, and the rest is actually catered to different specialized fields. For social media, I have a pure food blog and gadgets.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about Ravi for yourself?
I started blogging about 2 years ago as well. While I was in the US, I just came back from the US in April, and since I came back, I started blogging for The Online Citizen.
All right. Then what about Rocky?
I had no choice.
Why no choice?
Rocky was a journalist.
I was journalist for over 20 years. Then I was out of the newspapers, and I wanted a voice, and the blog was there. And then I thought of blogging just for fun. But then someone suggested that we should try and change the government, so we started blogging seriously.
Okay.
That's how I started blogging.
All right. But I understand that your blog has been blocked by the New Straits Times Press office, right?
By a few organizations. Actually. I don't blame them actually, because blogs, as we have discovered, can be a bad influence. I'm not saying that mine is a bad influence, but
including the things that you have written on your blog.
I think they're still trying to learn how to live with blogs, and that's one of the responses to blogs.
Okay, so before we discuss further, let's have a look at the clip that we wanted to show you just now.
blogs are contributing to paradigm shifts in thinking and communication around the world.
Here's an update on the number of online users who have jumped onto the blog wagon. According to a report by Ames, there are at least 112 million blogs, and the number is growing by 175,000 a day, or by about 2 blogs per second.
Blogging has suddenly become a more mainstream activity among Singaporeans, especially amongst the youth. They are no longer restricted to simple consumption of content as in the era of mass broadcasting. New media has given them access to tools of production like blogging, where they become prosumers, consuming as well as producing. And how can we tell?
Do you keep your own blog? Like an online diary?
Yeah.
You do? So what do you blog about?
Like my life, friends, everything.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay. And how come? Many young people are keeping a blog, and even if they don't or have abandoned it after a while, they are still the most active consumers of blogs written by others. So what kind of blogs capture their eyeballs?
Sometimes I read makeup blogs. They're quite interesting.
Okay. So find out the latest trends in makeup.
Yeah, and new products, reviews and stuff.
Technological blogs. They do influence what I buy.
Those gaming blogs.
Do you follow up on other people's blogs?
My friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friends?
Mostly.
Other lifestyle blogs, celebrity blogs, or politicians?
Sometimes.
Which celebrity blogs do you visit?
The Xiaxue. Yeah.
So what do you like about her blog?
I think she's very honest, very straightforward. Then, yeah, I think quite entertaining.
So you go there for the gossips, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes. Class blogs, like my form teacher has one. Then just go there, like post some things like how are you? Cause my P5 just finished, so to just be united with my class, I just do some.
Use the blogs to organize gatherings for your class.
Yeah.
Not only has the blogosphere changed the way many of us gather information, it also shapes the way we are connected to each other.
Probably you're more connected to others and you're more updated with what other people think.
Is that you're able to see what people's opinion towards one particular subject.
Share their experience. Maybe they go overseas, they take photos, we can share their joy.
According to an MSN Asia Pacific survey of 1,000 respondents, 51% trust blog content as much as they trust the content in traditional media.
As credible as the information that you can get elsewhere.
Yes, they are, definitely. Yeah.
And perhaps even a way we earn a living. A 2008 Technorati report says that an average Asian blogger earns $7,500 per year through blog advertising, even though this finding is skewed by top bloggers who earn more than $200,000 per year. Do you want your blog to be commercially viable? Like if let's say it can gives you like advertising revenue, would you like want to update it more often?
Perhaps.
Yeah, why not?
With more brands recognizing the value of blogs as advertising platforms, many influential figures in our society also note their values in shaping public opinion. Celebrities use their own blogs to promote their latest works or explain themselves in response to bad publicity.
The same goes for politicians. Those in power or struggling to be in power are using blogs to advance their causes. While it may seem that anything goes in the blogosphere, it may not always be the case.
Recently, the police have arrested a 24-year-old man for posting racially offensive content on his blog. Under Section 298 of the Penal Code, Chapter 224, those who have deliberate intention of wounding the religious or racial feelings of any person can be jailed for up to 3 years or fined or both.
Former Singaporean lawyer Gopalan Nair was also sentenced to 3 months jail for insulting High Court Justice Belinda Ang in his blog postings.
These incidents have shown us that there are boundaries that cannot be crossed over even in the blogosphere. But do our bloggers know enough about their liabilities online? And should blog content be regulated? If so, how?
So first of all, before we tackle the question of whether blogosphere should be regulated or not, let's just get a feel from you guys here. Do you think blogs can be regulated in the first place? Let's start from here again.
Okay, no, I think we should start from there.
Okay, start from there.
Start from here, so now we should start from there.
All right, let's be fair. Okay.
I think one thing is certain, you can try and regulate blogs. I think every government, I think that over 60 countries have blogs.
Yeah.
Each and every government, every one of the governments, I think has to regulate blogs, and I don't think any of the countries has successfully done that. Basically, the dynamics of blogs, I think it is impossible to regulate blog. I think, and for that reason, I think back then in the 90s, Mahathir, when he was Prime Minister, and he brought the internet in, introduced it to the Malaysians. He was brave enough to promise to the world that the internet in Malaysia will not be censored. I think there's only one reason why he would say that is because there is no way you can really censor the internet unless you totally
abolish all the sites. Okay,
and
we're gonna start with Ming Shen?
About my views.
This side.
Can it be regulated?
Well, I think it should be regulated to some extent. I mean, if you're talking about the blogosphere being totally unregulated, I think that's wrong as well. Because some laws to protect people from being slandered, for example, from spinning lies and spinning gossip that is of a malicious nature, those need to be regulated. But if it's an everyday blog and you're just speaking about your own opinions, then that's fine. But as long as it's not maliciously hurting somebody, I think that needs to be regulated.
Okay. So are you saying that maybe blogs should not be actively monitored, but in cases where there are defamation?
Yeah, exactly. Extreme cases where people are talking about racial and religious issues. I mean, I think that, say what you want, I don't think that like for example the KKK has a blog. And all of a sudden, they put up photos of a mob lynching somebody else, and that should be unregulated. So I think that at least that's the basis, but generally, you can't regulate it.
Okay, what about Rafi?
I think that Robert Picard, an economist, he says that for 100 years, people have been disillusioned with newspapers. So. And when the blogs came about, it was a natural thing for people to write their views and their opinions, and they jumped onto the bandwagon. And I think every views and every opinion has got its value. And self-censoring is good in a certain sense.
So it's being responsible for what you actually say.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Sabrina?
I actually agree with Ming. I think that it should be regulated to a certain extent, but then again, anybody can actually be a blogger. So it's very difficult to say that, I set this rule and you guys all have to follow it, because who actually follows every single rule?
I think that first step is that bloggers, we being bloggers, right, we should just stand for self-censorship first, because we'll be destroying our own medium if we say like, it should be free for all, and let's talk about hurtful things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talking about
code of ethics, maybe.
Yeah, a code of ethics, something like that.
That's what we are trying to do back in Malaysia. But of course, even to suggest that blogging should have a code of ethics was a controversy in itself, because 90% of bloggers do not agree that there should even be a code of ethics.
If say we were to lay out like a code of ethics, what should go in there? I mean, what are some of the most important things that we should observe when we are blogging?
No child pornography. That's a definite no.
It's common sense, really.
Yeah. Really common sense.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're a socio-political bloggers, you want to be, you're trying to compete with the mainstream media, for example. You have the first code of ethics should be you should report the truth.
But go ahead. I feel the mainstream media is always going to be angry with the bloggers because you take readership away from the mainstream media, you take advertisement away from the mainstream media. In fact, the Pulitzer Prize winning Buzz Bissinger, if you watch the HBO episode, he was so angry with the blogger from Deadspin. I have some quotes here. He said, I think blogs are dedicated to cruelty dedicated to journalistic dishonesty. He also added, it's a complete dumbing down of our society. But the sports writing icon said that because he was upset with the bloggers, especially the blogger of Datespin, and he admitted that, and he said, I'm so heated and so angry because this guy, saying the blogger from Datespin, whether we like it or not, is the future. I'm not the future. And he's right, because Technocracy estimates that the number of blogs in the world grows by 120,000 per day. Yeah? So it's natural that the mainstream media will be angry with the bloggers.
Yeah, even though that's the case, right? But I find that a lot of journalists also blog, you know, in the capacity of their work. Like our Straits Times journalists, they do maintain their own blogs to discuss issues that they cover in greater depth. And also at the same time, I guess a lot of journalists are also appreciative of blogs comments because they can quote these comments in their news stories. So actually, are we saying that, I mean, like the influence of comments on the blogs can actually extend beyond the blogosphere and go into the traditional media, since journalists themselves are quoting from the web? Is that the case? I mean,
Rocky, what do you think? Because I think now a lot of journalists are going online. You know, I mean, as for yourself, you're a journalist that became a blogger. But, you know, journalists that start online, they aggregate their information from the World Wide Web and then, you know, they produce something. Do you think that the medias could merge in some way?
Yeah, I think we're looking at a convergence even now. You know, because more and more journalists are resorting to blog. It's just a medium, basically. You know, it's but a powerful medium nonetheless. But if we, again, I have to limit myself just to social, political blogging. In Malaysia, for example, the bloggers started out being watchdogs of the media, the mainstream media, the newspapers and all that, saying that the Malaysian mainstream media were too pro-government and blah blah blah, not objective and not fair enough, you know. But what we are seeing now is this army of bloggers that came about before the general election are behaving like the mainstream media. They have been politicized. They are taking sides. They are not objective, you know. So once that happened, and we have not come to monetization, when money hijacks blogs, what we are going to see is blogging as a medium turning into something like the mainstream media that we are more familiar with.
And a lot of like sites actually go online already, like, you know, the New York Times and all that, they're all online. So I think it's just a short step away.
The very fact that we're here today, you know, is because of our blogs. So there is convergence. Like, you know, I'm sure some of you have been interviewed on TV or like on news, on newspaper, and like, you know, they find us through our blogs. You know, like reporters go online and find out what's going on, because that's the first place, you know, the information goes to, and then they use that as a touch point.
Okay, so yeah, those are pretty interesting points. So we'll carry on with the discussion after we go for a breather. So we'll see you later in the second segment.